Hi, Brian McAboy with Inside Out Trading. Today we're going to talk about a huge misconception or really a common mistake that a lot of traders make, and it really is like one of the biggest sources of the heartache that they're experiencing with trading. And this is a big deal. And if your trading is not going well, if you're finding it's kind of rough, you're not having as much fun and profit as you'd like, pay attention because this is something that might be something you've fallen prey to. Here's what I'm talking about. One of my favorite things to ask traders is, what is trading? And a lot of traders will be like, buying and selling instruments for profit, or others, it's taking an edge to the markets and being able to make money that way. And those are valid perspectives. But where so many traders make a mistake, and it's a compounding mistake, they think just because there are no barriers to entry for trading, and there really are almost zero barriers to entry. If you don't even need to have a lot of money anymore. They used to be was the only barrier to trading was you had to have at least $5,000 to $10,000 to start trading. Anymore, you don't even need that much to get started trading. And ideally, if you're wanting to make a living at this or a nice income, you need to have 25, 50, or $100,000 or more that you're trading with. But anyway, because there are almost zero barriers to entry. Seriously, there are no requirements, no licensing requirements, no, you got to go pass this test or anything like that. You got to have a certain degree or any of that kind of, no, you don't need anything. Skinny, fat, tall, short, ugly, pretty, smart, stupid, doesn't matter. You got money, you can trade. And you don't need a lot. And seriously, and it doesn't take anything to get started. No zoning laws. You don't have to get a permit to put up a building over here. You don't have to get a business license. You just show up and trade. And so because of that, a lot of traders, they look at it and say, hey, this is simple enough. I get it. I see how it works. Yeah, buy low, sell high, grab a strategy, be a little more sophisticated than that. But other than that, I try to find a good strategy and stick to my rules. And that's really all there is to it. Like, this is an entry-level job where you can just walk into it, grab a strategy and start trading, and you're set for life. You can just figure it out as you go. That's the big mistake. Because understand something. Here's the perspective on trading that really is the big difference. This is not an entry-level job. And trading is not just taking an edge to the markets. Trading, if you're trading stocks and futures and currencies, you're on the global market. This is the big leagues. This is not poker night with your buddies. This is not a fun little game of craps out in the alley or $20 in the football pool at work. This is professional speculation. And you're up against professionals, very well-resourced professionals. They got a ton of money. They got a ton of technology. They got a lot of things that are working in their favor. They got a lot of resources to make sure that they're winning. And that's who you're up against. And this is a very competitive environment. And again, this is the big leagues. This is not a place for amateurs and rookies to show up. This is where rookies and average get beaten up and their money taken from them all day long, all week, all year round. And so you got to understand, this is a professional level occupation. You better be bringing the skills, or you're just playing, you're going to struggle. It's going to be rough. It is not going to be the fun ride, that was painted. Maybe the picture was painted for you. Somebody was talking into their brokerage or their strategy or whatever. Just use our system. You make those consistent profits. No, you got to be bringing a professional set of skills to this game. And a lot of people, they'll complain about the prop firms. And they got all these rules. They're just trying to scam everybody out of the evaluation stage fees and all that kind of stuff. It's like, no, the prop firms, all the prop firms are asking for is the same thing you should ask for of yourself if you're trading your own money. And that is that you show up with the skills and the know-how to make money as a trader. Not trading on luck, not trading on some clever strategy that you just happen upon. You're bringing the skills. You are a trader of skill that knows what the hell you're doing. You know how to make money. You know how to deal with the markets and the uncertainty of the markets and all those variables. And if you want to come to the major leagues and you're not bringing the skill, you're not bringing some transferable skills, and you're showing up here and you're not trained for this job, it's going to be rough. I'm not saying all this to make you feel bad. It was one of the hardest lessons I had to learn. My first year, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I took a beating. It cost me almost $50,000. And I learned the hard way. It's like, yeah, you have to bring skills. A clever strategy and a handful of discipline is not going to cut it here. Could you imagine showing up to be standing in the batter's box and you got a professional pitcher firing 95-mile-an-hour baseballs at you? Would you even think about doing that? Hell no. And just like in trading, when you get hit by a pitch, that shit hurts. Yeah. So again, the thing is, and I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm trying to open your eyes to the fact that if you're having a hard time with trading, if you're finding that, man, this just isn't as easy as I'd like for it to be, it's because you haven't achieved the level of skill that you need to with this. Now, it's not just skill at placing trades, there are other skills that you need as well. There's a range of skills to go with this. It's not just placing trades. It's like saying, oh, yeah, all I need to be a good batter is I need to know how to swing a bat. No, there are other skills that come into this game. You have to know how to select a strategy that's right for you. You need to know how to build a consistent process on that strategy, and not just a rules-based strategy. That rules-based helps, but having rules, that's only one of 14 different characteristics that make for a truly consistent process where you get predictable output from it. Okay, so those are a couple of skills. You have to know how to properly test it. You don't want to be testing it with real money where you're losing money to find out that it doesn't work. That sucks. So why do it? And the purpose of back testing is not to just play around. It's to actually find out how good this system is, this process, the way it's defined. And you want to do that before you go risking money with it. You have to build that confidence, that knowing that your system works before you take it out in the markets with real money. If you don't have that knowing, there's always that doubt that it only takes one or two trades, and all of a sudden it's, man, now your emotions are flaring up. Sound familiar? So you got to have confidence. So, you got to be able to test it. You got to know how to build confidence with it. The catch-22 of trading is you have to know how to build confidence. Most traders, you can't stick to it long enough and keep from making mistakes. You can't stick to it long enough to build the confidence you need to stick to it. So it's a big catch-22. Been hearing about that in 25 years, and I experienced it myself. So the thing is, this is a great occupation to be in if you just treat it with the proper respect. This is professional level speculation. You're placing bets in anticipation of a certain outcome. That's exactly what trading is. It is professional speculation. And you need to be showing up as a professional if you want to survive here and not have it be just a stress-filled beating all the time. So what can you do about it? Of course, you do need a decent strategy. You don't have to have the most clever strategy on the markets. You just need a decent strategy. And then you need the training to, again, build a solid process on it, and also the training to execute consistently on it. And these things don't just happen but through force of will and discipline. You have to know how to train for it. And that's where my background in quality assurance really is helpful, because it's exactly what I did in quality. We would define processes for people, activities, according to best practice. So we were defining processes. We would test those processes. And there's a whole skill set that goes with proper testing, so that you're actually getting a representative measure of what to expect in the real world. A lot of traders, they don't like testing because my test results never match what happens to my real trading. It's because you don't know how to test. So again, not knocking it, but nobody teaches this. So you got to know how to pick a strategy that's right for you. You got to know how to build a process on it. You got to know how to test it. You got to know how to mentally condition yourself for consistent execution. These are all skills. And that's just this part of it. That's just part of being a trader. That's not even counting all the stuff about running the business. So again, this is professional level stuff. Now, if you'd like some help with this to actually become the trader that you know you're capable of being, swing by insideouttrading.com, and you can either book a call with me, or I've got a bunch of free resources. So, you can start to understand this perspective and some more detail on it, get to know where I'm coming from with this. I'm an engineer that was my degree, but a process engineer, project engineer, quality engineer. And when I bring all that to trading, this is how you make it work. I'm helping you engineer your success. So swing by insideouttrading.com, book a call with me, grab some of my free resources there. But don't just sit there. If your trading is not going the way you'd like, if you'd like it to be better, if you're finding some stuff rough, you're not making as much money as you'd like, don't just sit there and think that you can just keep trading and somehow things are going to magically turn around. If you do that, you're going to be here a year from now saying, wow, I haven't really made any progress. I wonder why. I'll just keep trading. And then another year will go by. So many traders have come to me. They've been trading for 5, 8, 10, 12, 15 years, and they're still fighting the same issues they were at year 2. So you can't just trade your way out of it. Trading does not lend itself to being just figured out, or it just doesn't work that way. You need the outside perspective, because you can't see what you can't see. You don't know what you don't know. You need the outside perspective, somebody who's been there, who understands how to make this work. So if this has been helpful, cool. Leave me a comment down below what your biggest takeaway out of this was. But leave me a comment down below, or if there's something that you would like to learn about that I could share with you on how to become a successful trader, leave it in a comment down below. I read all the comments. and I'll be more than happy to make a video for you answering your particular question. I'm sure there are other traders who have the same question. Leave me a comment, subscribe, swing by InsideOutTrading.com, but don't just sit there doing the same thing expecting different results. Better than that. And life's too short. Besides, you're here to make money and have some fun, right? Anyway, so again, Brian McAboy, I hope this has been helpful. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.